Love and Thunder continues the story of the God of Thunder after he starts travelling with the Guardians of the Galaxy. During that time in space, he gets back into shape, does some soul searching, I guess, and is now ready to be the Mighty Thor again. And that doesn't come a moment too soon, as a new threat emerges in the form of Gorr the God Butcher, who wants to, well, butcher gods. But also his former flame, Jane Foster, shows up, gaining the power of Thor by the way of Mjolnir.
Jane?
So now they join forces, which also makes it a bit awkward for Thor due to their past. So, after all that space travel, getting back into shape, and refocusing himself after the events of Infinity War and Endgame, surely we get the best version of Thor yet, right?
No!
There has been a major U-turn in Thor's character. From the moment he appears on screen, he's just a self-righteous egomaniac. I don't get the big-headedness, and it doesn't get much better in the film going forward. He's just a total clown, especially after when Foster re-enters the fray. He can go from pettiness to insecure, and at one point I can only describe as him being a 10-year-old child. Look, I get it, the former love of your life is back, and that can be a bit awkward. But there is a guy out there wanting to destroy your kind. There's no time for this rom-com bullshit. Now as for Jane Foster, before watching this film, I didn't get why she was there. Now after I've seen the film, I still don't 100% get it. And to be honest, like Thor, she's not very humble herself. And she doesn't find it half as awkward as Thor does, being around each other. And she is also somehow trying to figure out the superhero thing. Though I must say, Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman do work well together, as their characters both romantically reconnect. But sadly for me, it doesn't lead to any satisfying payoff. And the rom-com vibe doesn't genuinely work for me. Valkyrie is also here too, and yep, she's here. She doesn't really add much to the film, other than just to punch something really hard. To be fair, she was never a great character anyway.
Bruh.
As for the film's villain, Gorr the God Butcher, I felt sorry for him at first. The worst thing has happened to him, and I can understand his hatred towards gods. Gods are dicks sometimes, you know what I mean? But as the film goes on, he just falls into the category of forgettable MCU villains, with drawn out monologues and creepy looks. But Christian Bale did look like he was trying, so I can't really fault him for that. Thor Love and Thunder's story is rough. Very rough. Although I can appreciate the MCU not taking itself too seriously, I believe Love and Thunder doesn't take itself seriously enough. I swear that 90% of this film is played for laughs. It would either stem from Thor acting like a complete tool, or Korg trying to be the film's comic relief, which is pretty much pointless because everyone in this film is the comic relief. Even Zeus, played by Russell Crowe, is just one big massive bad joke. Or the romantic comedy of Thor and Jane Foster. It was fine to start with, enjoyable even. But half an hour later I was like, okay film, you've had your fun. Maybe time to straighten up a bit, you know? And then an hour passed and I just had enough. I was pretty much groaning the rest of the time. And we still had an hour left. And it didn't matter how good the fight scenes are, how amazing the special effects are, or how much Guns N' Roses you play, the film felt like a endurance test. And I failed. And it all culminates into a lackluster ending, as the stakes didn't feel high enough and everything felt pointless. Speaking of CGI and special effects, we visit many different worlds, and to be honest, as amazing as they all look, it felt way too familiar. There really wasn't anything here that blew me away. But if there was one thing that broke my suspension of disbelief, it was Natalie Portman's forebody. What they did, it looked awful. Couldn't be bothered to go to the gym, no? I get why they did this, due to what Jane Foster is going through, but there must have been some other way. There must have been time for her to bulk up a little bit. Or she could have done what Hulk Hogan did in the 80s. You know, take her vitamins and say her prayers. What do you think I meant? How did this get here? The action set pieces are thankfully a bit more creative, and they do have the MCU fun factor, but again they don't make up for the film's glaring faults. In the end, Thor Love and Thunder was a massive step backwards. In other words, this film took the piss. Thor's character has turned into a massive joke. In fact, the whole film feels like a massive joke. Even though Hemsworth and Portman had great chemistry, the rom-com stuff didn't work for me. Love and Thunder was mostly played for laughs, and I found that very frustrating. I just wanted to feel something, you know? Gorr the God Butcher didn't live up to its potential, and even though the fight scenes were fun, and the CGI was okay, for the most part, nothing felt fresh. Look, Taika Waititi is a talented guy. I loved What We Do in the Shadows. I loved Jojo Rabbit.
Fuck off, Hitler.
But to me, his ideas and creativity are not compatible with the MCU. So, if I'm honest, Thor Love and Thunder is mainly for the MCU completionists. But other than that, I find it really hard to recommend this film. Oh well, at least we've got She-Hulk to look forward to. Riding the Lightning was fun while it lasted, but unfortunately, I think Thor has lost its spark. But there was that part where his robe flew away, and we could see his bum. And there's nothing funnier than a bit of bum. Yeah. Film is still shit though. And that was my review of Thor Love and Thunder. But what do you guys think? Have you seen the film? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And again, where can I find a couple of flying goats?
Oh, yes, they are.
Actually, they can take it back. Comment down below and let me in the know. And that's about everything for today, my friends, and thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you saw, make sure you like, share and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. I've been Titch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.